Hey, how's it going everybody? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to the Lord of the Rings mod for Mount and Blade to Bannerlord. This is of course Tales from the Age of Men, and oh boy have they been cooking some sausages, some taters and some nice crispy bacon. So it's been about 2 months now since I last took a look at the mod, and they have added in so much content into the actual game itself. It's actually really impressive. Currently we're taking a look at the brand new Patreon build. They do plan on releasing this to everybody when it's a bit more stable. They kind of do these play tests every 4 or 5 months to kind of show what they've been working on, because do keep in mind that this mod only started in I think December last year, so it's been about 7-8 months, and it's actually incredible to see the speed of which they've been able to put this together. That is of course mainly down to the mod lead Hatred putting in a lot of money, like I'm talking about the tens upon tens of thousands of pounds to commission armors, weapons and other people to do a whole wealth of different things. However, it has come to fruition because the mod is in such a great state right now. The brand new update brings with itself expansions to the north. The dwarves have armors, weapons and even a custom base mesh, which I know has been causing them their very own war internally because it's just been a pain. Tailworld's not made it easy to create something like that. However, the dwarves have their own base mesh, expansions out to the south and east of the campaign map. The elves are coming in full fury with weapons and armors. Rivendell is now on the map, even though it is still very much a work in progress. We have a War of the Ring mechanic. As factions start to lose, like as good or evil starts to win or lose, they get buffs and debuffs and just so much more. Here we are back on the campaign map in all of its glory. I mean, once again, Minas Tirith is never gonna not be impressive to me. But if we take a look at the expansions that they've done, so obviously originally we had the whole of Mordor, who actually now have all their icons as well, and previously this wasn't in. So yeah, again, it looks really nice, and again, Minas Morgul looks incredible, Mount Doom, etc. We've already seen all of that beautiful stuff though. So yeah, previously it was Mordor, we had the rest of Gondor, we had the forces of Rohan, Orthanc, and I believe I've actually recently just completed expanding Dunland onto the campaign map as well. So yeah, Dunland have now been implemented in up here to the west, but we also have a lot of stuff up here into the north. So we obviously have Dol Guldur and its fortress in the forest, looking very intimidating. You guys can see all of its glory. So yeah, the Witch King of Angmar is going to be sitting obviously in his temple in Minas Morgul. However, out here we're going to have some more of the wraiths causing their dark desires across the lands of Middle-earth. I don't know what I'm yapping about, I'm just yapping. But yeah, you can see Dol Guldur have been implemented. I believe they also are getting a brand new base mesh as well for a lot of the Pale Orcs and Gundabad units as well. Believe right now Dol Guldur don't have their own custom Unitry, but again, it's not really something that's super necessary. They can definitely utilize the Mordor Unitry that is obviously only just expanding. Of course, we have the one that we've had previously, but they've also expanded out here as well, some more orc uniforms as well. Obviously we have the Uruk set up, but now we're starting to get a few orcs being implemented in there, and I imagine these orcs with their custom faces and stuff look really nice. We also obviously have some more bowmen, and of course these black Numenorians, which look incredible in their armor. But of course, not only do we have Dol Guldur being added in, and of course Lothlorien looking very nice right there. I love that custom imagery right there, looks awesome. But yeah, as we go further northwards, of course we don't have any of we actually, sorry, I was gonna say you don't have Franchul's Realm, but we do. Again, there's nothing going to be here, so there's no like wild men or anyone else up there. But as you make your way north, you of course have Frandril's Realm right there, and then of course Lake Town looking very nice. I love the water, doing a great job there with the graphics. And then of course, as we go further and further north, we then have Dale, and then we finally have Erebor. Keep in mind, everything up here in the north is still very much a work in progress, but they're still obviously just implementing it in so people can mess around with this. Then as we go eastwards, again, you can see some more of the other dwarven holds as well scattered around up there into the north. In the south, we of course have the Easterlings looking very glorious, and again, keep in mind all of this stuff is still very much a work in progress. Once the stuff is down, they're going to then implement a lot more of the actual detail and the other things that kind of make the campaign map feel much more alive. But it's great to have them down here, and again, you can of course jump in, play as them, and lead the forces. They have also said as well that Keyforce is currently working on the base mesh for the Oliphants as well, Nox has been kind enough, who works on Be a Dance of Dragons mod, to go ahead and share their elephant animations that were made by Artem. Again, a lot of awesome people out there all working on crazy stuff. So yeah, we are going to be getting elephants at some point, which is going to be super cool. And there's of course been new implementations of armors for these things as well, all fully expanding and looking very cool. Again, there's just so many incredible armors, and just imagine the Oliphants on the battlefield. It's going to be insane. And yeah, these things obviously have a lot of strength out here, a lot of settlements, a lot of castles, so when they start bringing their forces, they are going to be insane. We of course also have the Haradrim as well down here in the south, if we take a look at them. Again, right here, yeah, the Haradrim looking very nice. Sorry, I mean, obviously the Haradrim are the ones with the Oliphants, not the Easterlings. My mistake. I'm sure there's plenty of you guys in the comments already calling me out right there. Sometimes it gets confusing, okay, between the Eastlings and the Haradrim. We obviously also have Umbar down here as well, who have been implemented. Again, look how incredible these custom settlement sprites are. Again, these are so nice. I feel like it's such a small detail, which probably takes a lot of work to implement. But yeah, having these custom settlements just look really cool, especially for places like this. And yeah, it's always really impressive. So we even have Umbar down here in the south. And keep in mind as well, with the Forces of Evil, I believe everybody is sharing the same Unitry right now, because this was previously before the Haradrim and the Easterlings and Dol Guldur and all them units were all on the campaign map. They basically made all the Unitries interlocked for Evil, just so that people could play with all the different units that they wanted to play with. However, now that these guys are all down on the campaign map, I wouldn't be surprised if we did see them getting split up a little bit more. So as Mordor, you couldn't just go recruit everybody, but again, that could be kind of interesting, right? Mordor having access to like every single unit in the game. I don't know, it'll be interesting to see what way they do go down. But again, you have some really cool armors right here, some high detail ones. Again, I love the look of the elite Haradrim units as well, looking very beautiful. As we glimpsed over them though, we also have Rivendell as well, which has now been brought in on the map on this very nice defensive bit of terrain. I mean, it's going to be pretty hard to go and invade here as you go through the misty waterfalls, I guess, of Rivendell and make your way in. But I mean, it's going to look absolutely beautiful when you do finally make your way in, as you go down through the paths and yeah, you walk into it as the waterfalls pour down from Rivendell. I mean, that looks really nice. Yeah, it looks incredible. As I mentioned as well, the elves do have a fully working Unitry now as well. These have all been implemented at several tiers, which look very cool. They also, I believe, this is still the human base mesh that they have for the elves, but again, it's been kind of customized to look more elfish, and I think it does a perfect job right there. But yeah, lots of blade masters, a really cool Unitry. Their cavalry is obviously going to be very elite. Their bows are going to be absolutely incredible, and then you of course have the horse archers as well, which I imagine will be such a pain to deal with. Mount Gundabad is also implemented on the campaign map. Again, no custom sprite or anything for them, and again, they don't have a custom Unitry quite yet, like they do for like the same with Dol Guldur. However, again, I believe a lot of the Gundabad units are currently being worked on by Keyforce, whether it's just the base mesh for the custom orcs or if it's just armors. I believe that is currently being worked on, which is very exciting. Thranduil's halls also look very impressive as well as you come out closer, and again, you can keep in mind that these guys also have custom armors as well. The Sylvan Elves are going to be different, so again, lots of very cool armors, horses, and infantry and guardians as well. So again, these bowmen are going to be absolutely deadly. I mean, they have insane stats. I imagine these stats probably need a little bit of nerfing, but again, if everything is souped up to the nines, I guess it's not too crazy. And of course, the elves should have. So again, I imagine balancing is going to be an interesting thing of like making the elves feel as elite as they are, because I imagine they'll have like smaller unit armies and stuff. I can't actually find any of their armies scattered around, but they also have like outposts and other things. And as I mentioned, the dwarfs also I love it because they've got a custom base mesh. They don't fit in a little picture when it comes to recruiting them. God damn, it's hilarious, like all of these pictures. But yeah, as you guys can see, the dwarfs are now here, and they have an actually insanely large scale unit roster right there. Again, yeah, they go all the way up to like rank 8, tier 8s, which is just insane, with really cool armors. They also again have all custom weapons now. So previously I think they were using a lot of the Mordor weapons, and now they're not. And again, you guys can see they look absolutely insane. As I mentioned as well, they also have their own custom like War of the Ring thing that will fire. Again, I don't think this is fully implemented, but now we have this up in the top of the screen, which will basically dictate the War of the Ring, the war for Middle Earth. So as evil factions take settlements, it will go more in one side, and then vice versa, depending on what side you're on, this bar in the top of your screen will kind of change, and as it hits certain thresholds, you'll get more bonuses or negatives. And it'd be kind of interesting again to see how they balance it. I guess it'd be kind of cool, like 3/4 either side is like loads of bonuses and negatives for either side, but when you get to like that last quarter, there's like a final hurrah where the faction just goes all out and then maybe get a bunch of bonuses to try and kind of come back from the very brink. Would be very, very interesting. But yeah, I really like this War of the Ring mechanic. It's going to be very exciting to see. And yeah, keep in mind as well that a lot of the stuff that they've been doing have been armors and campaign map stuff, so when they get to more coding stuff, I think they can absolutely knock it out of the park. Again, we also have this bit of terrain up here in the mountains, which looks really, really nice indeed. Also, I should mention, of course, they also have their own custom UI, which has been implemented since then, so you guys will notice a lot on the campaign map. There's a lot more detail being implemented in, which I think is very, very nice when you go over. Again, oh my god, a little dwarven for base mesh right there is a little bit messed up, but again, you can see there's a lot more like kind of custom stuff, just adding in that extra flavor to the campaign. Trolls are also a unit that they've added. We can't really see the troll in all of his glory, but I'm going to take a couple into my army and we're going to fight some battles because trolls have been implemented. But not only trolls, we also have wargs. So yeah, we now actually have orc and obviously Uruk. Do we have any Uruk riders? Oh, no, we just have the orc riders on the warg. But yeah, we do now have wargs in the mod. These were given by the Alliance mod team. Again, really cool seeing all these mod teams work together. So we'll take a bunch of these wargs as well, so we can see them in all their glory in the battlefield. So again, I've just dived in so I can take a look at some of the units. So again, you can see the wargs right here looking really nice. Like, look at them go, man. I think they look so good. Yeah, it looks incredible. I love the look of them. I love the weapons as well. The wargs themselves are awesome. We of course also have our trolls as well, who again are always going to be a little bit finicky, but again, I think they look fine. And again, I'm sure later on down the line they'll get cleaner, but I think they do the job they need to do. Of course, as well as I'm getting hammered, we also have obviously all the dwarven base meshes as well. So the dwarves actually are dwarves rather than just humans who are made a little bit shorter, and because of that, I think they just kind of come out a lot better. But yeah, you can see the actual trolls themselves getting stuck in right there. Again, if we charge the cavalry in, you can see them making their way further forward, and their weaponry as they come flying down. So yeah, again, the wargs all have custom animations as well for moving around, which is very nice. And yeah, the units are actually just look awesome. Like, I love the dwarves. Look at them go, man. They do look very, very nice indeed as they charge down with their huge weapons. And I think that's also one of the big things as well, is like the fact that these guys now have all their custom weapons and stuff. And yeah, I mean, that's a dwarf who's been in my mines for a bit too long. Yeah, all the custom weapons and swords and stuff look incredible. I think, yeah, it just adds so much to it. And you can obviously see the cave trolls as well. So actually, one other really big thing that they have implemented into the mod as well is the Nev Mesh. Again, so the Nev Mesh is basically what tells you what's water, what's mountains, what's impassable, where you can go, and that basically tells the AI exactly what to do. Previously, you could just click in Mordor and you could simply walk into Mordor. You would just zip across this mountain, which then meant that armies would just kind of travel wherever they wanted to, etc. However, now the Nev Mesh is now in, and that's obviously such a key part into this campaign being a lot more playable, is having that ability to then make their way in to the actual campaign maps. Because now, you know, you can't just simply walk into Mordor. As I said, you have to go through the Black Gate. It now has its own custom setup as well. Oh, that's beautiful. Previously, this wasn't in. I love to see that. That is awesome. And of course, this Nev Mesh will continue to expand as they continue to expand up everything that they have. You know, as they add more stuff into the campaign, so will the Nev Mesh expand as well. But I think it's a really important thing to implement, because now, as I said, you can have a bit more of a functioning campaign, whereas previously you could just kind of go wherever you want to. I'll also never get sick and tired of seeing Minas Morgul at nighttime. It looks, yeah, just absolutely insane. They did such a good job with the lighting on that. And of course, you also see Mount Doom as well, right up there, just shooting out volcanic stuff. Yeah, it looks insane. Yeah, I mean, again, I'm never not going to be impressed with something like this. And yet, we're still not done. There's still more stuff. Like, they've gone in and they've revamped a lot of the Rohan Unitry. So as you guys can see, they now go up to a lot more of the, I mean, again, the UI assets are just loading, but they now go up to a much higher tier of cavalry right here, up to tier 8. So I think that's going to be kind of the idea they're going for. You're going to have kind of a lot of units down onto this like tier 6, and then they'll have like one specific unit that will go up to tier 8, which I think is a cool idea to do. Kind of, you know, the majority of the army okay, this is still decent, but then you get kind of to a stupidly decent setup tier right there. Also new armors as well, like Theoden has his new armor looking very, very nice indeed. There's plenty of other lords as well, so you obviously have the Witch King right here. Yeah, Dane also has his new armor as well, which looks insane. Let me see if I can find him quickly, because yeah, Dane's new armor is ridiculous. Oh, I actually have player switch on, so let me jump over and play as Dane, and I can hopefully show it off in battle if it will let me. Yeah, so it doesn't look like that's working. We're just stuck in this infinite loop, which is fine. Again, player switch isn't supposed to be integrated, so I was just trying it out. But I'll post some pictures on your screen right now so you can see for yourself the insane level of detail these new armors for the dwarves are getting to. But that's going to wrap it up for today's video. I'll leave a link down below to their Discord if you guys want to check this out on their Patreon. I think this build is definitely a playable build. You can dive in, you can have fun, you can help them reporting bugs and other things. And of course, keep in mind all the support on Patreon goes straight to commissioning new armors, weapons, coding, etc. So it all goes towards just improving the mod itself. And it's so amazing seeing this mod just go like leaps and bounds. They are making so much progress and it's really awesome. So a big shout out to the entire mod team for creating something insane. A massive shout out to Hatred for all the time, effort, money that he's poured into mod, giving us a Lord of the Rings mod. And I can't wait to see the future updates to this. I'm really excited hopefully for a new playtest coming again when this build is a bit more stable, because again I think this is in a much better playable state than it was previously when we were just kind of throwing everything into the mod itself. But yeah, now there's loads of factions, there's loads of armors, loads of weapons, loads of armies, and again we've now got the War of the Ring mechanic and other things, so it's going to be really cool. But of course, if you guys enjoyed this video, drop a like, drop a comment down below. If you guys want to maybe see some more videos on this mod, let me know, and I'll see you guys in the next one.